New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Good evening, and welcome to the Miracle of Prosperity here on the New Thought Media Network. I'm your host, the Reverend Dr. Jim Webb. I serve as the senior minister of the Tacoma Metaphysical Chapel in Silver Spring, Maryland, and I'm the author of the book, The Soul of Prosperity, and a number of other books, including 30 P's to Prosperity, Prosperity from A to Z, Forgive Your Way to Prosperity, and Create Your Self-Manifesting Vision Board, all of which are available on Amazon.com and all of which are available in audiobook form as well. So what we do every Sunday evening is we discuss prosperity, and we discuss prosperity in its broadest form, as more than just money and stuff. So we discuss multiple aspects of prosperity. We may discuss spiritual prosperity, where we find the deep peace that passes all understanding, that cannot be rocked or threatened by anything unreal. We may discuss professional prosperity, where, in the words of Florence Scovel Shinn, we have a wonderful job with wonderful pay, where we provide a wonderful service in a wonderful way. We may discuss relationship prosperity, where we cultivate an inner relationship of unconditional, loving self-acceptance, positive, balanced self-regard, and we see ourselves as holy and beloved. And that inner relationship that we cultivate is then reflected to us in our outer world, in the form of relationships that are peaceful, joyful, supportive, and harmonious. We may discuss logistical prosperity, where our lives work without pain, suffering, struggle, or lack. And we may discuss prosperity of resources, where all that we need is provided easily, effortlessly, and abundantly. So each week, we look at a different aspect of prosperity, and we look at ways to remove the barriers to the infinite prosperity that always exists. Almost as Rumi said, love is everywhere, for love is all there is. Our task is to remove the barriers to love's presence. Well, prosperity is simply all the different forms that love can take as we are aware of love's presence, as we vibrate with and cultivate the consciousness and energy of love, and as we then project that love out into the world in the same way that a candle projects light. And that love then takes form by drawing us to its reflection or drawing its reflection to us. So prosperity is simply love made manifest. So we can remove barriers to it, or we can develop ways to attract and cultivate more love in the form of prosperity. So today, we're going to look at ways to mitigate, minimize, move through barriers to love in its many forms of prosperity. We're going to look at navigating your way to prosperity through using the 7 C's of consciousness. And the reason we want to navigate our way to prosperity is because our consciousness in error, when we thought ourselves separate from divine source, where we thought ourselves unworthy of good, and where we thought that there was a world poised to punish us, that erroneous consciousness at times gets outpictured in our lives in the form of external events that tear us asunder. And when there are external events that knock us off our game, how do we navigate our way back to prosperity? Well, there's a system for everything. And my dear friend Willie Jolly shared with me that any challenge can be overcome by implementing a system that is tried and true and works. So our special guest tonight is Reverend Kelli Jareaux, who has come up with a system called the 7 C's that can help us to consciously navigate our way to prosperity. Welcome, Reverend Kelli. I'm so glad
you.
Thank you for being with us and sharing your light and your presence with us tonight. When I saw your face come up on the screen, I suddenly came alive because your light is so alive. Almost like that Peter Frampton album from 1977, Frampton Comes Alive. So welcome.
Well, thank you, Reverend Jim. You know, I love always being here as your guest. I love this show, and I love the opportunity to share energy with you. Such a bright light. You got all the light in the room.
I've been said that I steal all the light and oxygen when I enter the room. I didn't realize it until tonight. And what Reverend Kelli is alluding to is the fact that I have a beautiful backdrop. I'm in the Mountain House, which is a country hunting lodge background, and it's just beautiful here and restful and peaceful. But you can't see it. When I step out of the frame, you can see it wonderfully. But with me in the frame, you can't see a thing. So that's what she's alluding to. But I am so glad you're here after an absence, because since you've been away, you've perfected the 7 C's of consciousness that can help us to navigate any barrier to our prosperity. And I want to talk about that because necessity is the mother of invention. So you, through your experiences, developed a system. So tell us how you came about these 7 C's of consciousness.
Absolutely, Reverend Jim. Well, I and someone I love, both at the same time, believe it or not, were experiencing some very serious health challenges.
Yes.
And in that system, when you're in it, I consider myself to be an intelligent person, but it's almost like being in kindergarten. They're using words that you don't understand. Everything's moving very fast. There are a lot of assumptions being made. And what stuck with me, unfortunately, were certain words that the doctor spoke. And they weren't necessarily the most positive words. And they stuck in my consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to not have that experience, because from those words, then there are pictures, and words and pictures eventually, if they keep going, can
Take
create
form.
reality.
Yes.
So I did a lot of reading and a lot of the books on basically new thought health programs, and all of them basically are telling you to think positive thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
But no one told you how.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, we all want to think
Right.
positive thoughts, but
Yes.
how do you do that in the face of what I'll call it TSD instead of post-traumatic stress disorder? It's traumatic stress disorder because you're in the trauma. So
Okay.
while you're in this trauma, how do you neutralize the negativity, right? So that you don't
Yes.
end up either with post traumatic stress or with triggers every time you see a medicine advertised on television
Mm-hmm.
or a television character with a similar illness. How do you keep your nervous system
Mm-hmm.
aligned with truth?
Okay.
And
Let's work with
that's
that
the
for a
question
moment.
I pose to spirit.
Okay. In other words, how do you keep your composure when your ego is losing its stuff?
You always make it brief and clear. I love that about you, Reverend Jim. You're exactly right. When your ego is having a tantrum and is
Mm-hmm.
about 5.5 years old, how do
Mm-hmm.
you get into your big adult spiritual feet?
And that's why a system is so important. I cite Willie Jolly, the author of the book, the author of many books, and a powerful motivational speaker, who
Absolutely.
is most famous being "A setback is a setup for a
For
comeback."
comeback. Yes.
But he talks about if you have developed and internalized a system, instead of habitual panic, habitual reliance on the system will kick in instead.
That's
And it's not,
exactly right. And Reverend Jim, we all have, I think most of us at least, in this new thought realm, are aware of the phrase cancel, cancel, cancel.
yes. Is that one of the C's?
That's the very first C.
Okay. Tell us about
And
that. Tell us
the
more about it than the stuff that is almost trite at this point for New Thought people.
well, I had the cancel, 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 and I was canceling every 5 minutes,
Everything, almost
but
like that
nothing
hot
was
sauce
being canceled.
almost like that hot sauce commercial. I put that stuff on everything. I
Yes.
put cancel on every thought that came out of my head.
And I found that some thoughts are so intense
Okay.
that canceling them is not enough. And so I
Okay.
really wanted to explore, what does the action of canceling actually do?
So tell
And
us about that.
canceling revokes authority. So
Okay.
it's basically stopping that thought from creating. And that's a good thing because we
Mhm,
don't want it to create.
mhm,
But if you can imagine it like a train, a locomotive, right?
mhm.
The
Yes.
locomotive is heading down the track in the direction you don't want it to go. And
Mhm.
you say, cancel, 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 and it stops, right?
Okay.
But what's it still doing? It's still sitting there smoking,
Mhm.
the
Waiting for the next
horns blowing.
provocation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's still a big, scary thing sitting
Waiting
there,
for you to
right?
ease up, waiting for the brakes to ease so it can go forward like a locomotive
It's
again.
exactly, Reverend Jim. That's exactly right.
Okay.
And that's what was happening. Every
Okay.
time I would cancel, 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 but then I would find that in my spare time when I wasn't focused, the fear would come back,
The
the
brakes
thoughts
would
would
come
come
off
back.
and the locomotive would go forward once again.
Exactly. And so what
Okay.
I needed to do was find a way to get that train completely off the track.
Okay. So what you can summarize for our viewers thus far is that canceling is not enough. Canceling is like temporarily putting the brakes on a speeding train whose objective is to hurtle you into pain and suffering. Would that be accurate?
I don't want to say that. I want to say
Okay.
that depending on the degree
Mm-hmm.
of the situation you are trying to address,
Mm-hmm.
canceling may be enough.
Okay.
But
Now, does canceling also address the underlying energy? Because when I think of a locomotive, I
Mhm.
think not only of the form of the locomotive, I think of the thrust, all the
Yes.
energy and the weight. And is canceling enough or is there more necessary?
Well, that's when you get to collapse.
Tell us about that.
Collapse is where you make what was huge small.
Oh, so you take this big locomotive that you've seen physically with the cow catcher, and you know if it can move a 2,000-pound cow or if it can demolish a car that gets stuck on the tracks, you know its power, and you take it and you turn it into a little Lionel train?
Yes, Reverend Jim, that's
Okay.
exactly right. And
Okay.
you turn the engine off that Lionel train.
Okay.
So
Okay.
now it's just sitting there,
Hmm.
right?
And it's in the corner of your room instead of hurtling through your house.
That's right. And that's what collapse is. I mean, we think about it in terms of our computer. You know
Mhm.
that you can have 19,000 things on the screen, but if they are collapsed, you don't have to worry about looking at them, right?
Yes, let's just I like to marinate in the energy, the image, and the intention of something. So let's just take a moment to just imagine that. So it's not just intellectual. Let's just imagine and put into muscle memory. I'm looking at 12 different windows across my top banner right now. And anybody at home, you're probably looking at 12 or 15 windows across your top banner right now. And you know that little thing that there's the X, there's the box, and there's the something in the middle? You know that little thing that minimizes them, right? So I guess collapsing is like physically, energetically, emotionally, and spiritually taking this thing and hitting that little dash that minimizes it. Is that accurate?
Yes, I like to think of it as a minus sign.
Yeah. Oh, thank
Reverend
you.
Jim.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
taking it down.
So
Yeah.
can we do something right now just for our viewers' edification? Can we ask our viewers, what is a train that you would like to collapse, cancel, and collapse? What is a train of thought, a train of worry, a train of trepidation, a train of an old script that you would like to cancel and collapse? And then take one of those unnecessary windows, not ours, but another one. Take that Google search that you did earlier today and collapse it. Just do it right now. And understand that once that Google search is not on your screen, it's not taking up space in the important real estate of your mind. So if it's not taking up space in your real estate of your mind can be used for something much more productive, right?
Yes.
Okay. So that's collapsed. And that's two of the 7 C's. I'm sure there are others.
The next one, Reverend Jim, is close. And that's when you hit that X and you
X.
close the loop. Because you know that when you have it up on the screen, it's still not, I mean, collapsed. It's still not
Still
very
there.
far away. You
It's in
can
the
still,
background.
exactly.
That
And
program is still running, and Google is still capturing information about you, and they know that you're looking for a new pair of brown Cole Haan driving loafers, and everybody under the sun is popping up a pop-up ad about brown Cole Haan driving loafers in size 10. Not that I've ever done a Google search, and not that that's ever happened to me.
that is exactly right. And so closes the loop. When we were at Intervisions, we used to sometimes talk about incomplete cycles of action. Well,
Yes.
a thought can be an incomplete cycle of action.
Yes.
Just hanging out there.
Yes.
The train is still there.
Yes, and let's do an example of that. When we dream, what we are actually doing many times is we are actually closing the loop. So we had an incomplete cycle of a thought while we were driving to work. We saw something on a billboard and we didn't have a chance to process it, deal with it. We might not have even noticed it consciously, but unconsciously we did. So if there was a billboard about a giraffe and we pass it on the way to work, at night, we might dream about a giraffe, because what we're doing is we're taking that incomplete thought and we're putting it back into the card catalog of our unconscious from the random access memory that is the top of our consciousness. So it sounds like what you're saying is the same thing, huh?
Okay. It is the same thing, Reverend Jim.
Okay. Humor an old man. Thank you.
The important, I like to think of it like a record. And you remember how you used to get a skip on the record?
Mm-hmm.
And it would just keep playing and playing and playing. And not until you move that needle could the record complete itself. And so closing is about closing that loop completely.
Okay.
So closing, if we're going to stick with our train analogy, takes that train all the way back to the station. Takes it off the track.
Puts it into maintenance mode or something.
Puts it into whatever you want to say. Blows it up.
We won't use violent communication. We'll just put it in maintenance mode.
Put it in maintenance mode.
Okay.
You're right. It does stay in maintenance mode. It just sits there in the station waiting for one last C to happen.
What's
that last C is clearing. And that's when you take everything out of the train.
Now the train I want to explore clearing. And I think that's a perfect opportunity for a teaser, because the first 3 C's feel like they are in my head and feel as if we have yet to address the energy, the emotion that is an integral part of the creative process. So it sounds like when we get to clearing, we're taking that long journey from our heads to our hearts and to our solar plexus, our creative center, and we are working on it not only intellectually, but we are working on it energetically and vibrationally. And so I want to take a break now. So if clearing is just that, moving from the head to the heart, we will come back and work with that after the break here on the New Thought Media Network.
Please help us say thank you to all of our organizational sponsors, including the Hepperlin Foundation, Affiliated New Thought Network, International New Thought Alliance, Science of Mind Archives and Library Foundation, Center for Spiritual Living Denver, Center for Spiritual Living Midtown, New Thought Philadelphia, Center for Spiritual Living United Life, Sunshine Cathedral, Planned Happiness Institute, Summit Center for Spiritual Living, One Heart Retreats, Universal Joy Center, Unity Kitchener, Unity Spiritual Center Ottawa, Om Center for Spiritual Living, Satya Center, Begin Within Ministries, Center for Spiritual Living North Jersey, Unity of Savannah, and the Center for Spiritual Living Seattle, as well as all of our individual donors. On behalf of New Thought Media Network, thank you, and please like, share, and subscribe. New Thought Media Network, come be you. Come expand your spiritual journey. Join us for Just the Talk, Sundays, 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. Mountain Time. Experience Unity Kitchener and Ottawa. Center for Spiritual Living Midtown, Center for Spiritual Living Denver, Unity of Garden Park, New Thought Philadelphia, the Sunshine Cathedral, Unity of Savannah, and the Om Center for Spiritual Living. Come unleash your spiritual potential with New Thought Media Network.
What would Louise say? Join us every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Mountain Time. Hosted by Reverend Martine Bernard. Explore the wisdom of Louise Hay. Brought to you by New Thought Media Network. Dive into Louise's teachings. Experience healing and empowerment. Reverend Martine shares insights. Connect with a contemporary audience. Unlock your potential. Transform your life with love. Embrace positivity and healing. Join our vibrant community. Ready to join us? Let's spread love and wisdom together. Please like, share, and subscribe. Only on New Thought Media Network, positively inspiring.
And we're back here on the New Thought Media Network, and we've got Reverend Kelli Jareaux, Reverend Kelli on the line tonight, and we're discussing navigating your way to prosperity using the 7 C's of consciousness. And these C's are spiritual techniques that we can all use to get back on track, to get centered, to get back into our wholeness when life throws us a curveball that causes us to go into doubt or fear. She developed this system based on her own crisis in her household, and she pulled upon all of the spiritual tools that she had learned over the 30 years of her spiritual practice, and she shares them with us now. So, Reverend Kelli, we did the first 3 C's, and can you review briefly the names of the first 3 C's that are the ways that we start in the head so that we can get down into the heart?
The first is cancel, cancel, cancel. And by the way, I didn't know this. That actually is a military term. It comes from radio communication and meant to instantly stop. Isn't that? It was repeated because radios have so much static, so that there would be clarity. Isn't that fascinating?
That is fascinating.
So that's the first C, cancel, cancel, cancel. Yes. The next is collapse. The next is close. And now we're on clear.
Okay.
So and there are actually emotional components to collapse and to close also. But you are correct that clear is really about the residual
the energy of it. And so if that, we can say with words anything under the sun, but what is the more weighty part of our creative process is the energy that we carry. And so we have to neutralize not only the words we use, but the energy behind those words. And it sounds like we're getting to that. So can you tell us a little more about that?
Yes. Not just new thought and spiritual practice, but actually physiologically and psychologically, studies have shown that we do have this residual leftover energy in our bodies, the tenseness. You can even feel it if you come into a room where people have argued, the argument is over, and you come into the room, you can feel that, right?
Yes. Let's do an experiential analog that we all know. If you had parents, you observed them fight. And as a child, when you're hypersensitive, before you've learned to guard yourself off from energy and emotions, as a child, you knew 2 things. You knew when your parents had a fight, and you knew when your parents were happy. Right? So we can identify with this. Amen?
Amen.
So go ahead. I wanted to put those little 2 cents in so people could really grab onto that.
And you can, I think you can also sort of, it's like, your shoulders are up here. We've all felt that kind of tension.
Yes.
And so with this, we want to actually physically take the time to breathe out and to mentally know that we are releasing it.
Yes. So it's a conscious effort to release it. I rebuke, as they used to say in the old school, I rebuke thee, but I release this. I allow this to leave my mind, my heart, my energy, my vibrational rate. I create a space for something else instead. Is that
Yeah.
accurate?
We want to observe first where in our body we are having the experience,
Okay.
right? And then we want to, as you said, release it. We want to invite something new in, and
Okay.
we want to intend that that newness or open space be available for the new creation that we are making.
Oh, I love that. Intend that the new space be available for something new instead of it being refilled with the same thing that we just released.
Exactly. And that's also a way not to nullify the energy, because
Mm-hmm.
energy has been created, right?
Yes.
And it needs to go somewhere.
Yes.
So we want to elevate it, and now it becomes a support for us instead of something that is holding us down and making us tense.
Okay. Okay. So clearing, we've cleared it. What do we do then?
After we clear, we create.
Oh, I like this part.
Yeah, this is right up your alley, right?
Yeah.
We want to use all of our senses, right? And we want to create across all of our timelines. And we're not just creating an experience, we are also supplementing an identity. Who am I when this new reality exists? Because these other things that existed before tamper with identity.
Okay.
They're asking you the question, who are you now? Oh, the doctor said you're sick. Who are you now? So your identity has come under attack from these things.
Okay.
And we are
Or
now
your perceived identity.
supplementing.
Okay. Okay. So you said one thing, all of your timelines, and that triggers something in our audience. So can you elaborate on that?
Yes. When I say all your timelines, I mean, my way of believing is that
Okay.
we exist across many dimensions.
Yes.
And activities that are aligned are happening in those dimensions. We can call upon those dimensions, those other Kellys, those other Reverend Jims for support.
Yes.
And we want to clear things, not just in the dimension we're in, but in all of the dimensions, in case any other Reverend Jims or Reverend Kellys are having a problem.
Yes.
We're doing the work for everyone right now.
Okay, so this would be tantamount to what A Course in Miracles says, I am not alone in the effects of my healing. My current experience is not the only experience being healed. My inner child and parts of this consciousness that formed in my childhood is being healed. What I brought perhaps to this life to heal from prior lives on the earth is also being healed. My future potentials are being healed. So this misunderstanding does not recreate in the future in the form of a future Kelly. So I am being healed all up and down. Let's call it the guitar string of my eternal self. Would that be accurate?
Reverend Jim, that's the guitar string. I love that.
Yes. Well, I'll tell you a little bit about that later when I talk about my classes.
That is exactly it. It's across all time and space.
Okay. I just wanted to understand that a little bit better for our audience.
Absolutely.
Okay,
And we want to create with all of our senses. So when we are doing our creating, we're engaging in seeing it, the visioning, hearing what that sounds like, smelling the air. We're trying to get the feeling tone of the experience that we are crafting.
Okay, so we're using everything we are and everything we have and everything we know experientially so that we can be the creation. We're not only thinking about it, but we're feeling it, We're not only feeling it, but we're tasting it. I'm a taste guy. We're not only tasting it, but we're bringing forth the music and the energy and the vibration of the music that reminds us of it. Because for every feeling, there is a song. For every experience, there is a song. And for everything, there is a song. So we bring in the songs. We bring in the okay, I get it. I get it. I'm not going to go on one of those when I eat a New York peppermint patty. This is what happens.
But you're in the right space, Reverend Jim, and I will tell you, I'm going to just divert a little bit.
Okay.
One of the things I did to support my healing was create a song.
Yes.
Because
Okay.
I'm working now with the AI song maker, and I made the most awesome house music.
Yeah. Oh,
a house music song for my healing. I'll have to send it to you.
Please send it to me, because you know I love me some house music.
Absolutely. but that is it. We want to just make it almost a solid thing that exists not just in our mind, but is just ripe for us to pull down.
Absolutely. In my new upcoming book, Magical Manifestation Methods, one of the things I talk about is immersing yourself in the vision. And it involves all of that.
All right.
You know, what is your song? What does it taste like? What does it feel like? Oh, don't get me started. So you go ahead.
And so that is the creation piece.
Okay.
That is filling the train back up with our positive creation. Right?
Instead of the train carrying a lump of coal, the train now carries jewels, golds, and diamonds.
Exactly. There you go.
Okay. Okay. So after we create, what do we do? Aren't we done? Aren't we done?
We continue.
Tell us about that.
And, you know, that sounds like a nothing step.
No, but it's rinse and repeat.
Yes. Absolutely. Because continuing is about putting our physical feet under the thing that we've created.
Yes.
And I have this is what I do, because I'm usually saying this all at one time and implementing it as I go along. This is my continue sign.
Okay, continue.
And what you want your continuation to be, you want to find some precise activity that you can engage in. Make it small, because if you make it too big, you can overload. You won't do it, and you'll overload your nervous system. So you want it to be sustainable, because the more that you repeat that behavior, you're creating the neural pathways that are going to make that become a lived identity versus a fly-by-night thought.
A habit that becomes a characteristic, that becomes a trait, that becomes your identity.
Exactly.
Okay. And you know what? That is a better analogy than rinse and repeat, because who are you or I to talk about rinsing and repeating? Right? Listen to us telling people to rinse and repeat as if we know something about shampooing hair.
I can shampoo, just not hair.
Okay. Beautiful.
And then the very last C is conceive. And that is the allowing step. That's when we have released the resistance and we're just allowing what is to be.
Okay, I've released resistance to what has been. I have canceled it. I have collapsed it. I have cleared it. I have, help me.
You've created.
I've created
the new vision.
Yes.
You're continuing in
I'm
it.
continuing it by creating a habit that becomes a characteristic, that becomes new character, that becomes new identity.
And yet even that can be something that we meet with resistance.
Right. So we have to keep at it. Amen.
And so we want to keep releasing the resistance. There's that part of us that says, is this really working? the part of us that wants to check in on it and monitor, the part of us that planted the seed, but now wants to go dig the seed up to see why isn't it growing.
Right. Yes.
And so
Yes.
it is that aspect of ourselves that we are releasing,
Okay.
so that we can allow our creation to manifest. That's how we manifest our prosperity. And my vision for this is, we continued, the train came down the track, we ran and jumped on it. Now we're riding it with arm up.
Yes. Midnight train to Georgia.
Exactly.
Okay. Beautiful. We've reloaded the train with diamonds and pearls to note a Prince song instead of a lump of coal. There's a lump of coal in my Christmas stocking. And now we're all right. Well, our viewers have some questions. Some have already been asked, and I know our viewers may have others. So we're going to go into commercial break, and then we're going to address the questions our viewers have asked. So if you've had some questions, put them in the chat, and we'll address them in the next segment of the Miracle of Prosperity here on the New Thought Media Network.
New Thought Media Network is excited to present Divine Science Everywhere, Fridays at 2 p.m. Mountain Time and 4 p.m. Eastern. Come explore a modern experience of divine science. With Reverend Joy Fletcher, Reverend Jeff Radcliffe, and Bishop Durrell Watkins. Join us as we open our eyes to divine science everywhere we look. Fridays on New Thought Media Network.
Come expand your spiritual journey. Join us for Just the Talk. Sundays, 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. Mountain Time. Experience Unity Kitchener and Ottawa. Center for Spiritual Living Midtown. Center for Spiritual Living Denver. Unity of Garden Park. New Thought Philadelphia. The Sunshine Cathedral, Unity of Savannah, and the Om Center for Spiritual Living. Come unleash your spiritual potential with New Thought Media Network.
And we're back here on the New Thought Media Network on the Miracle of Prosperity. And we have Reverend Kelli Jareaux, and she's speaking about navigating your way to prosperity using the 7 C's of consciousness. How can we train ourselves to get through anything that throws us off stride? And our guests, our viewers may have some questions. And I know we have one from Rosabella. So let's put that up and let's address that one. Okay. I can read this without my glasses. I must be in spirit. Good evening, all. I'd like to understand why, when friends, both owning their own business, sometimes want to assume doing business with the other does not warrant the same space as for clients. Okay. I've got a friend. I'm doing business with this friend. Why does this friend think that they can treat me that I would treat them different than another client? Or why would they treat me different than they treat other clients? This throws me off my game. How can I use the 7 C's to address this, Reverend Kelli?
It's good, because that was one of the things I was going to say, Reverend Jim. It's not just negative thinking. Sometimes it's just any old thought, because I was just trying to use it for things that were severe. And then I discovered that you can use this for anything. So I would, if I were our Isabella, I might look at what in me felt upset about what it is that had happened. What was I judging about the situation? And how did I feel impacted by it? For me, when I have a friend treat me in a way that feels less than loving, then feelings of betrayal, disrespect come up. And so I would ask myself, what that was for me, because I can only control myself. I can't control my friend. So what is it that I can give to myself? What is it that I need? And that would be the place for my creation. So my canceling would be whatever negative thoughts I was thinking about my friend. He doesn't love me. He doesn't respect me. He always does me like this. I'm angry, whatever. I want to take the moment to feel my feelings, because that's real.
Yes.
I want to feel those feelings. And then I want to cancel their impact on me. Then I want to collapse it so that I'm not, because I'll cancel it, go on about my life, and then it'll be like, and another thing.
Exactly.
So I want to collapse it, make it smaller, realize the world is not ending because this thing happened, and I'm not going to let it dominate my day and my energy, right?
Yes.
And then I'm going to make a decision, because when I make a decision, I die to all of the other choices. Now, I will tell you, our Isabel, I had to make a decision. I'm a lawyer in my other life, and someone wrote an article and said that I refused to settle and dismiss a case with a woman who was on an oxygen tank. And they put this in the national magazine of all lawyers and used my name. Oh my goodness. I was in my baby self, not my spiritual self at all. I was embarrassed at how upset I was. And that's when I realized that this method could be used for anything, the serious things and the not so serious things. Because when I made the decision that I wasn't going to do anything about it. That's what I decided. You can decide what you want. But once I made a decision, I was able to close it because I died to, I'm going to write a letter to the editor. I'm going to write a response. I'm going to sue.
Yes.
Why did this lady do it? I had to die to all of that. All of that. Released all of that energy.
Yeah.
Closed it. Then I had to clear it because it was all up in my body. I had headache. I couldn't sleep. Waking up at 4 preaching about this situation. I had to release it out of my system. And when I was able to clear it physiologically, and for you, Isabella, that you can find the place inside of you, wherever that is. Whatever it feels like, if it feels like a knot in your stomach, if it's making your eye twitch, whatever it is, find that space. Exhale and release that energy. Set an intention. Invite that space to be clear for the thing that you are creating. And what I created for myself was, hey, no one's reading this. This is an internet article. People who subscribe to the ABA, I'm not even one of them. No one's going to read this. And if they do, I know the truth of what I did. And for me, that has to be enough.
Yes.
And you can know the truth, Isabella, of who you are, and even know the truth of the depths of your actual friendship with that person. You can visualize and recreate in your mind the happy times you have spent together and create new fun times for you all to have together. You can even create having a conversation about whatever it is that is bothering you that goes so well, both of you are even more deeply in friendship and love for one another. It's up to you to create it. But just want to do this in the most loving way. That's difficult. It's difficult because you're still over in the unloving energy.
Yes.
You're a past lawyer as well.
Yes.
Then you know how we go back and forth in our legal minds, weighing pros and cons. So we just want to stick with the pros this time, right?
Mhm.
And so after you have gone through the process of creating, you find your step that you can continue to do. It might just be going to your internal sacred space and spending 2 or 3 minutes a day with that friend,
Mhm.
having a conversation between your higher self and their higher self. If you
Yes.
have a willingness to do that, you're investing energy in the friendship to build up what that thought tried to tear down.
Build up
Okay?
what the thought tried to tear down.
Yes.
Can I
Yeah.
repeat that for emphasis and for our audience, but mostly for me?
Go ahead.
Build up what that thought tried to tear down. Don't be surprised if you see that in the sermon, y'all. Build up what that negative thought tried to tear down.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Oh, beautiful. Oh, Reverend
Mhm.
Kelli, thank you. And I can feel Reverend Rosa, I can feel Rosabella also being so helped and healed by that
Yes.
response. Thank you so much. Thank you
Oh,
so
good.
very much. Well, we just so appreciate you being on tonight, but this is not all. I know you work on so many things. So what are you up to these days, Reverend Kelli?
Well, Reverend Jim, I am creating a class and a coaching program around these 7 C's, as
Oh,
well as a guide that people will be able to get so that
mm,
they can read about how to do it.
mhm,
And I think it's beneficial the same way that we did with Rosabella
mhm.
to go through it for your specific situation, because
Yes.
we want to become masters at doing
Yes.
this so that we can do it faster, deeper, and more completely.
So you're saying we should do another show called Mastering the Seven C's?
Absolutely. Why not?
Why not? Okay, we will. So you're working on a class, a book,
Yes.
and support tools for using the seven C's. How wonderful. That's
Yes.
exciting. You're
It
working on
is.
some very interesting stuff.
Yes, I am. And how about you, Reverend Jim? What are you working on right now?
Well, I'm working on a new book, Magical Manifestation Methods. I hinted at it tonight, but it takes so many things that have been downloaded to me over the last couple of years. Because when I did my book, The Soul of Prosperity, and then when I did the spin-off books from that, including 30 P's to Prosperity, Prosperity from A to Z, Forgive Your Way to Prosperity, they kept spinning off all this other information. Well, over the last year, they've been spinning off all these new magical manifestation techniques and how to combine them in optimal ways. And
All
so finally I relented and I'm doing a new book called Magical Manifestation Methods. And also, in the meantime, I've got new classes starting tomorrow.
right.
And these have to do with something that you mentioned. They have to do with clearing. Spirit Speaks on Healing Key Issues as a channel class that starts tomorrow evening. And what it is there are key issues that we all have in common. Our unique twists are unique to us, but the issues are in common. Issues such as sexuality, issues such as finding inner peace, issues such as relationships, issues such as money and support. And so Spirit, with each session, will give an overview of the spiritual perspective on the issue and generically how we can address the issue with prayer, with shifts in consciousness, and how we can invoke miracles to heal the issue. And then if you have individual questions on that issue, you can bring those questions to Spirit in that safe, loving, confidential space. And Spirit will answer that question for you, whoever asks the question, but it will really be for everybody in the room because we're really all one. And one person asks the question, that means that 20 people have the question. So that's what we're going to do on Monday nights, starting tomorrow for 6 weeks. And I'm also doing a companion class to that on Thursday, because I do two for the price of one.
Yes.
And that Spirit speaks on past and future lives. Since the theme is clearing, what we brought to this life may not have originated in this life. It may be past baggage that we brought to this life, because this is the first time in eons where there has been enough light on the earth to heal our karmic wounding, our soul trauma. So we brought all that trauma to one life, and then we wonder, why is my life so challenging? Because we brought a boatload of lifetime trauma to it to heal right now. Well, Spirit will work with us to heal that in some powerfully dynamic, deep, penetrating ways. And as you said, that clears the slate for a new life. Not only a new life now, but Spirit will look forward and help us to construct with joy a new life, perhaps a next life or a next series of lives without the soul trauma, without the wounding, without the patterning. And so it would be like, and so Spirit would then help us. So in your next life, if you didn't have to spend the second half of your life relearning all your miseducation in the first half of your life, what would your life look like? What would you want it to be? And we will put the energy forward for that, laying the foundation for our next life on heaven, on earth. Because by the time we come back, earth will be heaven. So Spirit speaks on future and past lives. Clear past lives, create future lives. And this is a companion to Spirit Speaks on Healing Key Issues. These will both be channeled classes. This one is 6 Thursdays, beginning on the 23rd. So the pre-registration period ends at midnight tonight. At the beginning I had of the show, I had 5 slots left. Somebody texted me before I even had a chance to do the commercial and said, I'll take one of the slots. So now I have 4 slots left. And until midnight tonight, you can save $50 to register on these classes. And that's the pre-registration discount. This class will sell out. I mean, I just sold one before even making the announcement without trying. So if this is of interest to you, please text me at 202-253-6009. Let me know of your interest before it sells out. Don't call me tomorrow at 4 o'clock after I close out registrations at 3, because somebody called me at 9, 10, and 11, taking the last slots. Call me now, text me now, if this is a class that you intend to attend. And if you can't attend it personally, I can get you all of the recordings, because it's on Zoom, all of the recordings for $100, and you can work with the class at your leisure. So this is what I'm doing, and I'm so excited. It begins tomorrow. Pre-registration with the pre-registration discount ends tonight at midnight. So text me now. Don't even go up and get a drink of water, because you'll forget if you're anything like me. So do it now. And I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. That's what I'm doing, Reverend Kelly.
That sounds fantastic, Reverend Jim. Yeah. When you're talking about those classes, I'm like, I want to be in all the classes.
Well, you can. Just text that number, 202-253-6009. Share it with your friends as well, because I know you're going to share this recording.
I will.
All right. So I want to thank you tonight for just being such a wonderful guest. I feel like Peaches and Herb. Wish I could crawl right through the telephone line and give you what you want so you could still be mine. I wish I could crawl right through the telephone line and give you a big hug in Thanksgiving for your appearance tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, Reverend Jim. Always a pleasure. Love you so much.
I love you too. God bless you. And let's thank our producer, Michael Mangus, who's on an upswing now. Michael Mangus, thank you so much for putting this show together and for your patience. You know, sometimes we have a host who's full of it, and Michael always manages that host very, very well. So thank you, Michael Mangus. And I want to thank our audience tonight as well. Thank you for being guests here on the New Thought Media Network. Good night.